Sony's E3 2015 press conference had some big stuff. Last Guardian, Final Fantasy VII, and some weirder stuff like Shenmue 3, which is awesome, but the whole Kickstarter campaign thing is considerably less awesome. It's just really strange. So today we're going to take a look at some of Sony's best and most exciting E3 moments, and it sure was hard to narrow it down to just a top 3 here. I'm Alanah, welcome to Button Bash.
Stand by for an important announcement from the Aperture Science Emergency Surprise System. Deploying surprise in 3, 2, 1.
Number 3 was a particularly shocking one. When Jack Tretton was up on stage at Sony's 2010 E3 conference, he was suddenly totally cut off by the voice of one of the most famous evil robots ever, GLaDOS. GLaDOS herself introduced the one and only Gabe Newell, the head of Valve, to the stage to talk about Portal 2 after the game had been exclusive to the Xbox 360 for quite a while. This announcement wasn't really a huge deal, maybe minorly surprising because Newell had trash-talked the PS3 so much.
So I'd really like to thank everyone at Sony for their gracious hospitality and for not repeatedly punching me in the face.
But it makes the list for being so well presented. Having Gaben on stage is one thing, the guy is a pretty big deal, but having GLaDOS herself introduce him is a whole other thing.
For instance, PlayStation 4 won't impose any new restrictions on the use of PS4 game discs.
2 is an example of one of the most tasteful but hard-hitting smack talks I have ever witnessed. Just before E3 2013, there was so many rumors regarding the new Xbox saying it would be online only, wouldn't play used games, and required Kinect to function. It was a series of really awful anti-gamer, kind of anti-consumer flaws that Microsoft were actually trying to market as features to their upcoming console, but Sony wasn't having a bar of that with the PS4, the console for the players. On stage at E3 2013, Sony said, PlayStation 4 won't impose any new restrictions on the use of PS4 game discs. To which they were met with like 30 straight seconds of cheering for such a simple thing. Then they said, when a gamer buys a PS4 disc, they have the right to use that copy of the game. They can trade in the game at retail, sell it to another person, lend it to a friend, or keep it forever. More cheering. But there's more. They continued. In addition, PlayStation 4 disc-based games don't need to be connected online to play or for any type of authentication. If you enjoy playing single-player games offline, PS4 won't require you to check in online periodically, and it won't stop working if you haven't authenticated within 24 hours. Boom. Obvious digs at Microsoft, but when Microsoft was doing really awful stuff that obviously needed to be corrected, well played, Sony.
Since it's a beautiful day here in Los Angeles, I'm going to ask Sony Computer Entertainment President of America, Steve Reyes, to join me for a brief presentation.
Number 1 is actually similarly competitive and real old school. We're going all the way back to 1995 here, the first ever E3 and the announcement of the PS1. The way they announced the console was awesome and exciting and a great moment in gaming history, but the real kicker was when executive Steve Reyes is invited to the stage to give a brief presentation.
$299.
Reyes walks up to the podium, says $299, and then walks the hell back down. It was the ultimate mic drop without an actual mic drop because that price point made it exactly $100 cheaper than the immediate competition, the Sega Saturn. It was a beautiful, badass slaughtering, and, well, we all know what happened to Sega in the long run. I'm Alanah, thanks for watching Button Bash.